Indiana in the morning, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Glad that you're with us here today on this Tuesday morning, 8:44 in the morning. Hey, there's that Aaron Lehman guy again. Wasn't he just here yesterday?
I was.
He was. He's back today.
I am.
But this time in a whole different capacity. He's with Family Promise, of course. That's where we first met him here on Indiana in the morning years ago. And today he's got with him Jess Cramer, who is a new board member for Family Promise.
Yeah, just came on this year.
Nice, nice. Well, we'll meet her as well. Our visit this morning presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. You can visit them online at marcusandmack.com. So what's Family Promise up to lately?
So today's our annual Day of Giving. So we're trying on the radio, trying to tell people about it, tell people a little bit more about Family Promise, and why the organization would be a great thing to donate to and support, and continuing to where their mission to help families that are experiencing homelessness.
And why not? I mean, Family Promise has done a lot of things, and it's an expanding mission for Family Promise.
It is, yeah, and we have a lot of things. One thing I realized when I've been on this, I never kind of talked a little bit about why I became, why I wanted to go on the board of Family Promise, or how I've gotten into helping people and families experiencing homelessness. And one of the things that I think about is imagine sleeping in a car with your kids. Where you have the windows up, so you have to use the air conditioning or the battery and gas. Would you ever your windows down and worry about your family maybe somebody getting abducted or losing all your belongings or anything like that? Would your kids do well in school without a shower, without a good night's sleep? Would you be able to have a job without a shower, without a good night's sleep? And also, would you have a mailbox so you can get the Section 8 housing and you can get a Medicaid? And will you have stability in your life? And that's no. So I'm I grew up in a 3-story brownstone house on 10 acres of woods in Hershey, PA. My dad was a doctor. My mom was a nurse. I was never going to experience poverty. I was never going to experience homelessness. But the way my parents raised me is, they said, if anybody has money around here, we do, you don't. So I grew up with resources that a lot of people didn't have. And I realized that, helping with my experience of, growing up and resources I had, I wanted to bring that into helping people that may not have had those same resources. So that's why I joined Family Promise. And one of the things I love is, again, we give security to families. We give financial literacy, talk about wants and needs. I always talk about the, $600 stimulus, Walmart selling TV for $5.99 and below. People need to understand that that's a want. A need is to have electricity. So that's kind of one of the reasons, with the ways that I found Family Promise, and even in my business and everything else, looking at people that need help with financial literacy, with role models, and everything else. And that's what we do. And we are expanding all the time, trying to make it so we can, help families experiencing homelessness, but individuals and families with financial literacy.
Yeah, help them to learn what it is, what are the best practices for sustaining your life. And so that's one of the bigger roles that Family Promise plays. Now, Jess, you're a new board member for Family Promise. What brought you to the group?
So I have lived and worked in Indiana County my entire life. And the older I get, the more I'm paying attention around my community. And I've just noticed, I have seen people sleep in their cars, people sleeping on a bench. And it's like it hit home, like homelessness can happen so quickly. And I just wanted to be a part of the board to help get those people off the street into a home. I have 2 boys myself, and I just couldn't imagine sleeping in my car with my kids, not letting them be able to take a shower every day. So I know that it can happen so fast. So I just want to be a part of the board that I could help anybody that is in need, help with the fundraising to get money into Family Promise for us, just anything I could possibly do.
I think you just said something I think that is really key, and that is that you couldn't imagine someone in that situation. But I think that a lot of people, they can't imagine it, and because they can't, they might just sit on the sidelines and let somebody else worry about those sorts of things.
Right, and I don't want people to have to live that way. And if I can be a part of helping them get off that park bench and into a home and get back on their feet, because it does happen so fast.
Yeah.
If I can help anybody get on their feet, I would love to help them.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the motivation for Family Promise and for what it is that the organization does. But you do it, Aaron, in a number of different ways. And achieving financial literacy, which to many folks, maybe that's a term that you need to define a little bit more because, people might not know what that means.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of times in schools, you're not really taught how to budget. You're not really taught about wants and needs. If you had a family, if your family didn't really teach that to you, if you didn't get an education, how are you supposed to know? If you've always lived your life eating plain pizza, you don't know that there's pepperoni, you don't know that there's sausage and mushroom. So we need to get people to understand that, you don't, like, this is not a lifestyle to live in poverty or be homeless. You can actually help. And one of the ways to help is making sure you understand budgeting. Make sure you understand that you need to pay your bills. And maybe you don't have something because you're trying to pay your bills. I mean, one of the things that Carol says is, short-term discomfort for long-term gain. So you may take the bus for a year or two, but then you're saving up money to buy a car. Then in 2 years, you buy a car, you get a better car than you could have gotten, let's say, before. And now you have reliable transportation. You can get a job. You can take your kids places. You can go get food and everything else. So, looking at that and, really getting people to understand that, it's not easy, but if you really, really want to get into a new situation, you can do that. Yeah. And the other thing is using role models, which is where the congregations come in, and we're always looking for congregations. But that gives people the ability to have fellowship with the people with the families in our organization, and make sure that they understand that you can actually succeed, and people in the congregations definitely help with that.
Yeah.
So that that's two of the big things that we do, and then we also have the store. So things that you can't buy with food stamps, like laundry detergent or soap and shampoo. You might pay $1 for laundry detergent that is donated. And it's not that we want to make money. It's that we want to bring dignity back to people's lives. And going home and telling your child that you bought this laundry detergent instead of you're given it.
Sure.
Definitely does a great thing. And the other thing that I hear, and I've talked about this before, but with taxes. So if you're, and what we're doing is we're having people succeed. They start having cars and houses, and we had 7 families go from homeless to homeowner. So when you start having those, you're starting to pay taxes. And if you no longer need Medicaid, food stamps, now you're decreasing the expenses that go to that from the government, and you're increasing income for the government because you're paying taxes. So not only do we do all these other things, but we're also decreasing taxes for the government, hopefully, if they use the money right, and if they understand financial literacy, sure. Then, we can do that because less people have to rely on the system. And the best way to do that is to make sure that they have financial literacy and role models so they can go and succeed. And that's where our 83% success rate comes into play.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a wonderful. It builds upon each of those steps of success builds upon the previous, and so you're able to accelerate the process a little bit of achieving the kind of independence that you want to have. Family Promise, of course, here in Indiana County, started as a church movement.
It did, yeah, and it started back. Mike McElhaney, Big Mike, started it, and they found a church, and the church donated some money, and then that's where it started. But Family Promise itself, so we're an entity, or if you will, of a big
part of a nationwide
organization. Yeah, thank you. And it started with a napkin and a sandwich. And what happened is mom was homeless, and the lady that started Family Promise, brought her in, got her a sandwich, got a napkin, found out what she needed to, what different things she needed, and started Family Promise in that, so we can, definitely help people that need help.
Yeah,
and it's huge.
Jess, let's spend a little bit more time with you and find out what sorts of things motivate you as somebody who has a job and is in a position where you can see folks who are in need, what motivates someone like you to say, I'm actually going to get off the bench here and get into the game a little bit?
I think what it was I just had my second son, and I just keep thinking, like, I don't want them to ever have to be in that position. So I just want to help. I just want to get out there and help and whatever I can do. And I understand that, it's a pride thing for some people that, their first step to not be homeless is you have to reach out. We can't fix it for them, but we're on that end to be there to help. So as a mom, it's just like, if I was ever in that position, I would hope somebody would reach out to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's such a good thing. You've been associated with Family Promise for how long?
4 months now, I
4
think.
months?
Yeah, very new.
Started in
Very
January.
new. So
Yeah.
just learning a lot, but learning so much. Like, and a lot of people don't even know what Family Promise is or who we are. So it's just kind of also telling my family and friends and church family right now what Family Promise is, what we're doing, different things like that.
And how everybody can step forward and
Right.
help. Yeah. And that's what Day of Giving is about.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So how do people give?
yeah, so you can go to Family Promise's Facebook page or our website, and there's a donate button right on the front of our website. You can donate there. You can donate onto, and we have a link to our Facebook page, so IndianaCountyFamilyPromise.com. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the Facebook is Indiana County Family Promise also. So you can go to those two places. You can drop money off at the Day Center, which is 812 Marion Drive. I think it's Drive Avenue Drive. It's
Should have given all that to Jess.
yeah, exactly. It's across from the community guidance center and the country club. So you can drop off money there, and so there's a lot of different ways that you can donate. But I know a lot of organizations are always asking for donations, and they're it's like every other day you're hearing somebody. The thing is, though, we don't get federal grants, we don't get state grants. It's basically people and corporations in the area, helping us, and that's so we need all the help we can get. Because we need to be around, because the only other there's the veterans have a homeless program, and the ICAP does, but we need to have more of it, because the other thing that's happening is like Poets Village, an organization came in from out of state, and they bought Poets Village, and now their rents are higher than what Section 8 housing is. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have more and more and more families, experiencing homelessness because they can't afford the $1,000 rent, because it's above what Section 8 housing is. So we definitely need our organization to be around.
Absolutely. All right. So give in those ways. It's a very, very worthy cause, helping homeless folks right here in Indiana County. Aaron Lehman, Jess Cramer, thanks so much for coming in for the visit.
Thank you for having us.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. Fox News is up next at the top of the hour, a couple of moments.